So I'm going to start off with one of my images where I've got a person that I'm going to just put some text behind them. To do that, I'm going to come to this background layer and I'm going to right click on it and duplicate and hit OK. Or if I have it selected, I could just hit Control and J and it'll duplicate it. From here, what I'm going to want to do is go to select the subject, and it'll analyze the photo for a second, and it selects the subject right there. And then once I have the subject selected on this top layer, I can come down here to the layer mask and put that on it, and it doesn't look like it did anything, but if I hide this background layer, I have just the child, and I've got this version right here. If I was to move it around, we would have that, but we want to have him right in place. From here, we're going to type in a word, so I'll go to the type tool, and I'm going to type something in, and then come up here to make this type a little bit bigger. I'm going to fill up the space with it. I'm selecting to go with a sans serif font right up here, Franklin Gothic Heavy. And as a heads up, Photoshop allows you to filter the typefaces that you see. So if you want a sans serif, you can come up here to sans serif. If you want a serif, it'll just give you the serifs, or even just showing you the black letter ones. So whole bunch of different options there with that. So I have this right here, and what I'm going to do with this type is the same exact thing where I right click on it and duplicate or hit Control J. And with this copy, I'm going to drop the fill down to 0. So I just clicked on fill, drag that down to 0. This first layer, I'm going to drag it below our background layer. So now I have the background, the text, the image with the layer mask, and text again. And this final step, all I'm going to need to do is come down here to FX and put a stroke on the layer. And that'll pop up this layers panel where I can choose the size of the stroke if I want it to be positioned on the outside, inside, or center, as well as the opacity if I wanted it to be a little bit more faint. But I like how that looks with the 10-point. From here, what I can do is hold Control and click on both of my text layers and come down to this little lock right here, this chain, which will link them together. And now if I click on these, I move it, it'll move both. So that way if I need to replace it, reposition it, make it larger, it's just going to be all selected at the same time, just making it a little bit easier on me. So then I can just decide where I want that text. If I want it to go edge to edge, like that there. And I would just figure out where I want my text at. From there, File, Save As, or save a copy to save a JPEG. Make sure to get it turned in.